It's a crisp autumn morning in Washington, D.C. The day is like any other. Senator Johnson wakes up, grabs his coffee and reads the latest news about how the mighty Clarets conquered Europe once again. What? It could happen. He's calm, composed, unaware of the chaos brewing beneath the surface. Meetings are scheduled, speeches are written, but there's something else looming on the horizon. As the day unfolds, he's surrounded by staffers, security, and political allies. To the public eye, he's untouchable, just another politician going about his business. But behind the scenes, a dark plan is already in motion. By mid-afternoon, the senator is heading to his next event. The crowd gathers, the cameras are rolling. But amid the sea of faces, one person has a very different agenda. The senator approaches the podium, a smile on his face, unaware that this moment is to be his last. In an instant, everything changes. A single shot echoes through the crowd. Panic, screams, a life cut short, and with it, a piece of political history rewritten forever. Political assassinations and attempted political assassinations are nothing new, especially in America. But when it comes to Donald Trump, things do tend to get a little bit murkier, to say the least. And no, I'm not talking about the controversies around his last presidential term. I'm talking about today in 2024. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive into the assassination attempt of Donald Trump and ask the question: was it a lone nutter? Was it a conspiracy by Biden and Harris? Was it a false flag? Was it even Biden's son? Today I'm going to present all the information I can find, and I'll let you decide who tried to kill Trump. To really understand the magnitude of the assassination attempts on Donald Trump, we need to dig back into America's history, don't we? Yeah, we do. America has a long and torrid history when it comes to assassination attempts on political figures. In fact, the list is a who's who of power and influence. After Lincoln, we saw the deaths of James Garfield in 1881, William McKinley in 1901, and of course, John Motherfoxtrot Kennedy in 1963.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
But it's not just the successful assassinations that defines their history. In the past 30 years alone, there have been multiple assassination attempts on US political figures. Attempts that, if they had succeeded, would have drastically changed the course of history. In the last 30 years, there have been at least 11 known assassination attempts on prominent American political figures. Over the years, at least 14 US presidents have faced assassination attempts whilst in office, with the most recent high-profile case being Ronald Reagan in 1981. He survived because that generation was just made from sterner stuff. But here's the question that keeps everyone guessing. Why, oh why, would someone want Trump gone? is he truly a danger to the political establishment, or is it all part of a bigger game? Let's explore the reasons why Trump could be seen as a threat, and why that might put him directly in the crosshairs. Donald Trump. The name alone drives people crazy. But what could make the Biden-Harris, or more importantly, the Harris-Walz administration, want to have him silenced? It's absolutely no secret that the relationship between Trump and the current administration is anything but cordial. Trump's policies, political power, and the following that he commands are seen by many as a direct challenge to the Democratic establishment. Even after leaving office, Trump's popularity remains unmatched in the Republican Party. His rallies draw tens of thousands of devoted followers, and his grip on the GOP seems unshakable. And with the 2024 election just round the corner, many believe Trump is the Republican Party's best shot at retaking the White House. For Biden, and more importantly now for Harris, this isn't just about politics, it's about survival. At the time of the assassination attempt, Biden's approval ratings had been shaky at best, while Trump's continued rise threatens their chances of securing another term. In the eyes of the conspiracy theorist, what better way to ensure a smooth path to re-election than to just knock off your opponent? From a policy perspective, Trump is the ultimate roadblock to the Harris agenda. His American First approach runs counter to their priorities on climate change, immigration, and social justice. But it's not about differing views. Trump has made it clear that if he returns to office, he plans to reverse every major policy decision Biden and Harris have made. For the Harris administration, Trump's reassertion could unravel years of policy work. In the eyes of the conspiracy theorist, that might just be enough motivation to consider more drastic measures. But let's not forget the political unrest that seems to follow Trump wherever he goes. The events of January 6, 2021 left a deep scar on American democracy. To some, Trump's rhetoric was the match that lit the fire, and his base of supporters, many of whom remain loyal, pose a continuing threat to political stability. Could the fear of another uprising, another attempt to challenge the government's authority, be enough for the current administration to view Trump as too dangerous? For conspiracy theories, the idea of taking him out isn't just about politics, it's national security. Of course, you have to bear in mind these are just theories. But in a world where political power is everything, and where the stakes are so high, it's easy to see why some might believe the current administration has more than enough reason to want Trump out of the picture. Could Harris or Biden be involved in the plot to silence Trump? Or is this just another wild theory born from political divide that's gripping the United States? Still, Biden and Harris aren't the only ones who might have a keen interest in taking Trump down. Could this all be a part of a bigger plan, maybe even false flag, to boost Trump's support? Or could this be the work of a loyal and very angry son? This one I'm throwing out there. It's a little bit outlandish, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. There is someone out there right now who has more reasons than any of us to wipe this particular chess piece off the board. And that person is Hunter Biden. There is a reality where Hunter might have seen Trump and his supporters as the direct cause of his downfall. After all, much of Hunter Biden's personal legal troubles have been exposed by right-wing media and Trump's inner circle. It's absolutely no secret that Donald Trump and his allies have publicly dragged Hunter's name through the mud, painting him as the black sheep of the Biden family. Whether it was the infamous Hunter Biden laptop scandal or his foreign business dealings, Trump's camp left no stone unturned, and to some, this amounted to a relentless personal attack, not just on Hunter, but on the Biden family name. In the 2020 election, Trump repeatedly attacked Joe Biden's character by highlighting Hunter's business ties in Ukraine and China, claiming it revealed corruption at the highest level of government. Right-wing outlets and Trump supporters amplified the Hunter Biden laptop story, which contained compromising personal information and alleged financial misconduct. This put Hunter's private life on full display for the whole world to see. It's not hard to imagine that Hunter might blame Trump and his supporters for public shaming. The theory goes that his anger combined with his unstable personal life might have driven him to lash out, not just against Trump's rhetoric, but perhaps against the man himself. There also is another angle: the misguided loyalty to his father. Joe Biden has always presented himself as a family man, fiercely defending Hunter against public criticism. But what if Hunter took this loyalty to the next level? What if, in his mind, defending his father from Trump's relentless attacks meant going to extreme lengths? Just take a step back for a second and imagine being Hunter. Your father is the most powerful person on the planet, but he's also under constant attack from someone who has dragged your name through the mud. According to this theory, Hunter might have believed that by removing Trump from the picture, he could both avenge his father and put an end to the narrative that painted him as a liability. So on one side of the coin, you've got a man and his followers that has literally torn your life to shreds, exposed everything you're doing wrong and put it in front of the whole world to see. Whilst on the other side, the same man and the same followers are attacking someone you love with all your heart. If I put myself in Hunter Biden's shoes, I might need some bleach afterwards, but if I did that, I'd be apocalyptically angry. And there's a funny thing about anger: it can make you do silly things, especially if there's enough of it that lasts long enough. But again, it's important to state that these are just theories. Power and loyalty can lead people to make rash decisions. Could Hunter Biden have been so blinded by his resentment towards Trump and his followers that he took matters into his own hands? It's a far-fetched theory, but it's not impossible, and it's certainly not something we can rule out. But hold your horses, conspiracy fans, because we're only halfway there. You see, what if it wasn't Biden, Harris and Walz? What if it wasn't Hunter? What if it was a false flag? This is something I have contemplated since I very first heard about the Trump's first assassination, because there has been another one last night, or yesterday in American terms. And it's a theory that I can't shake. I can't dismiss it, I can't debunk it, and I certainly can't put it past Trump to try. Here's why. Mere minutes after the news broke about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the word staged began trending on X. In today's world where conspiracy theories flourish online, that word is often used to cast doubt on the reality of high-profile attacks. But this time, it wasn't just fringe groups jumping on the theory. The idea of a staged event flooded mainstream discussion, drawing millions of views. As everyone tried to make sense of what happened, many began raising fair questions. How did the attacker get so close? Where was security? These doubts fed the growing narrative that something about this event felt off. One viral post, viewed over 1 million times, questioned the lack of panic in the crowd. "Nobody in the crowd is running or panicking," it said. "Nobody heard an actual gun. I don't trust it." Posts like this one were pushed to the forefront of the conversation, not by fringe conspiracy theories, but by blue-ticked accounts with more credibility. It was enough to spark disbelief. Did the attempt actually happen? Or is this part of a larger plot to deceive the public? Throughout the United States' illustrious history, false flag theories have been floated in political circles to explain events that suddenly shift public opinion. A staged assassination attempt could, ironically, play into Trump's advantage. With the 2024 election on the horizon, an attempt on his life, whether real or not, could rally his supporters, turning him into a sympathetic figure and reminding them all of the dangers he faces from his opponents. Trump has always positioned himself as a victim of deep state conspiracy. If this assassination attempt were staged, it would be the perfect way to reinforce that narrative. The timing of the event and the rapid spread of the staged theory on X would only deepen his supporters' belief that there is a plot against him. This, ladies and gentlemen, is 4D chess. Another potential motive for a false flag could be as a distraction from Trump's mounting legal troubles. This kind of distraction could be enough to refocus the public's attention, even if the attempt wasn't real. At first glance, the idea that Trump could orchestrate a staged assassination attempt might seem outlandish. That is, of course, until we consider his network. To say Trump is embedded within the gun industry is an understatement. He's received significant backing from the NRA and other pro-gun groups throughout all of his campaigns. These relationships with such powerful groups give him the means to pull off something so incredibly elaborate. The gun industry's support isn't just about personal loyalty to Trump. It's also about self-interest. There is a policy that Trump has said he will put through once he gets into the White House, which is Project 2025. This policy lays out a sweeping vision for dismantling federal oversight on firearms. The plan would significantly benefit gun manufacturers and lobbyists by allowing them to operate with far fewer regulations. But here's the catch. Without Trump in the Oval Office, Project 2025 doesn't even get off the ground. The Biden administration, with its more restrictive stance on gun control, is clearly an obstacle. And with Harris taking over the reins, that just doubles down on that concept. This ensures that Trump's return to power is not just about ideology, it's about survival and expansion for the gun industry. So the question is it plausible that the gun industry would be willing to stage an assassination attempt on Trump to secure their future? Well, the stakes have never been higher. If Trump were portrayed as a victim of a deep state assassination plot, it would not only galvanise his base but also create public sympathy. This sympathy could sway opinion on issues like gun rights and lead to a renewed push for Trump's election, giving him the power to implement Project 2025. In a false flag scenario, it's not just about manipulating public perception. It's about manipulating the political landscape to bring about the necessary conditions for the gun industry's long-term goals. With Trump as their ally, they can reshape regulations in their favour. Without him, those ambitions are gone. That, my conspiracy theory cohorts, is what's known in the industry as a motive. Like I said, compelling stuff. But it's not where we end, because there is one more angle to look at. And after last night, or yesterday for our colonial friends, it becomes a little more fanciful. And that is what should be the most logical explanation of them all. A lone wolf with an axe to grind and a bullet to bury. When considering the likelihood of a Lone Ranger breaching high-level security to carry out an assassination attempt, you have to take into account historical data and real-world scenarios. Let's break this down. First, we have to consider the sheer magnitude of security surrounding Trump. Former presidents typically have Secret Service protection, and their events are guarded with multiple layers of security. The chance of a lone individual bypassing these systems undetected is extremely low. In my eyes, he has about a 10% chance of pulling it off. While lone attackers can sometimes get close to public figures, making an actual assassination attempt without being intercepted in today's day and age is about as likely as me catching Mo Farah in a foot race. Having said that, it's worth noting that lone intruders have successfully breached security in the past, though not always with the intent of assassination. The most notable recent incident was in 2014, when a man armed with a knife managed to get into the White House. One could argue that although security in these places is designed to stop such events, the unpredictability of these attackers, and of course human error, give them a better chance at succeeding. One could argue that, right up until last night, when this happened.
Breaking news, the FBI is now investigating a shooting in West Palm Beach as an attempted assassination against former President Donald Trump. This would be a second time. Law enforcement officials now confirming they arrested a suspect who fired shots near a golf course used by Trump. His campaign says he is safe and well. We are awaiting a press conference. You can see here where we are hoping to get.
This adds a significant layer of complexity to the lone attacker theory. Because Trump is no longer president, the Secret Service doesn't keep as stringent a perimeter as they would if he was the president. This can leave Trump a lot more vulnerable, especially when he's out in the open playing golf. But even with that in mind, 2 successful breaches in such a short time, that just strains credibility. With the second attempt, the chances of another lone gunman just getting lucky seems far less likely. Even with a more relaxed security perimeter, it's not just unusual for 2 unrelated individuals to breach the different venue's security. It's a level of incompetence never before seen from the Secret Service in America's history. With this latest attack taking place in a more open environment like a golf course, the fact that it happened so soon after the first attempt starts to strain the lone wolf theory. The odds of two different individuals attempting the same thing in such a small time frame defies coincidence. While this still could be the work of individuals acting alone, the timing and coordination of these incidents suggests that we might be looking at something more deliberate. Following two close calls, we now have to seriously question the lone attacker narrative. It's no longer about one person acting on their own, it's about the larger question of how and why Trump has become so vulnerable. The official story about the Secret Service's limited perimeter adds a bit of an explanation, but it doesn't fully satisfy the concerns. The reality of all this? After the second attempt, the theory that there's a larger hand guiding these actions can only gain more weight. So after two close calls and two very close shaves, where does that leave us? Well, the straight fact is it could be a lone gunman. It could, I'll rephrase. It could be two lone gunmen. It could be a pissed off son looking for revenge. It could be an administration desperate to get rid of their competitor. Or it could be Trump trying to hoodwink us all. The conclusion to it all is that the more answers that come up, the more questions get asked. And I, for one, the only thing I know for certain is that I truly believe that it's not the lone gunman. I believe there's a couple of patsies in play. But what I believe is relevant. What do you believe? Where do you stand on this topic? Do you have any different conspiracy theories? Do you have any other theories of what's going on? Get in the comment section below and tell me what you think. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share and subscribe. I hate that, but yes, it does help. Stay sharp, stay curious, and most importantly of all, keep asking questions. Bye bye.